Hello, my friends. Welcome to Luminous Human School. I'm Lindsay and I'm here with Christy.
Hello.
And today we want to talk about gratitude. And there's really so much power in gratitude. It's such a beautiful practice to bring into your life. And something that we decided last week was to take time every day to be grateful in whatever way that looked for us. So people can choose to write down things they're grateful for. Maybe it's a morning practice, maybe it's something they do in the evening, reflecting on their day. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's throughout the day. I really encourage anybody to have gratitude as often as possible because, I mean, it feels great. So
Mhm.
why not? Um, yeah, or, if we weren't writing it down, we were just taking time to meditate and really feel gratitude in our hearts. So for me, that's kind of the route I went, is each day I was starting my day with some kind of short meditation, really, that allowed me to come into a state of gratitude and really just start feeling it. And I would just notice myself smiling through that meditation a lot. And um, sometimes I would even start tearing up and crying because I could just feel the intensity of gratitude in my heart that was like, wow, this is so beautiful. The emotion has to come up within me. And that those moments always feel really special to feel that power of gratitude.
Yeah, definitely. For myself, I actually just made myself a little morning meditation that was about 7 minutes long and just put in the things that I wanted to elevate gratitude for in my life and
Mhm.
give myself just some prompts to breathe. And so I did that every morning.
Mm.
And like you, I did notice this elevation moving through my body, this expansive, brighter feeling. And yeah, the beauty of gratitude, how quickly you or I'll say how quickly I was able to raise my state and feel this sensation through my body as I really brought in the feeling of gratitude that actually was physically pleasurable, like a physical pleasure in my body from bringing these positive thoughts and emotions through my body.
Mm. Yeah, I can resonate with that because I would start to feel this sort of expansion through my heart. And there were times I would throw my hands up in the air and just be like, yes, thank you. Like I could just feel this big energy around me that just felt so nice. And and yeah, you sent me that meditation and it's so beautiful. I was like, oh, I'm gonna use this. So I did use yours a few
Thank
times.
you.
Because it's just so good. I was like, it was, 7 minutes, easy, and it just put me in such a great state. And I think, yeah, for me as well, I sort of noticed not just in those meditations of feeling good, because yeah, in that moment I was really tapping into that feeling and just feeling it in a big way. But I was noticing myself over the week kind of just more elevated in general. And then looking at things that were challenging me and maybe making me not feel so great, I was looking at them a little bit differently and then was reminding myself of certain affirmations or reminding myself about, you know, can I find the gift in this and what aspect of this can I be grateful for? So I did see it continue to show up throughout my day. Because, sometimes those things that challenge us, they can just drain us and pull us down for the rest of the
Mhm.
day, right? Like, yeah, there's times where I've had something happen and I'm just like, oh, it's so much harder throughout the rest of my day, or I just feel this lower kind of energy. And I think having that practice of gratitude allowed me to kind of bounce back a little bit, and just remember just that it was there,
Yes.
had that gratitude there that I could work with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
it felt kind of relieving. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, just listening to you say that, I'm thinking about my week and I'm thinking, I actually had a really good week.
Yeah.
And I actually, in reflection over the last week, haven't felt a lot of big challenges come up. And maybe it's a coincidence, but maybe this gratitude practice
Mm.
really uplifted me through the week in a way that made the week just feel really good and easeful and not a lot of yeah, a lot of ease this week.
Love that. How nice.
Yeah, so could be a coincidence, but
Or maybe you were just tapped into a different kind of energy, and maybe there were things that happened that at other times you would view as more challenging
that's
than
what
you
I'm
were.
wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah,
something to be aware of, but moving forward to see how that feels and what you notice. I'm curious too. Like,
yeah.
we just did it for a week, so we're gonna keep this practice
Yes.
going and see, but
The
yeah.
other thing I want to share is that, the first time I really heard about a gratitude practice was years ago when Oprah actually
Mm,
recommended a gratitude practice and recommended having a gratitude journal. And every morning, I think what she used to say, and I don't know what she says now, but would say, write 5 things every morning that you're grateful for.
mm,
So I did this and got frustrated after a while because I was saying to myself, I'm writing these things in the journal every morning and all these miraculous results that Oprah's talking about, I'm not really feeling it.
mm.
Well, that is the whole key. I wasn't really feeling it. I
Yeah.
was just writing them down, but I wasn't, if I was writing, I'm so grateful for the birds I hear singing outside my window. And I'm so grateful that I have this comfortable bed to sleep in. And I'm so grateful that I get to go have dinner with a friend tonight. But I was just writing the words. I wasn't feeling
Mhm.
in my heart, listening to that bird sing, wow, I can hear a bird singing outside my window. That's so sweet. And hearing that, I just feel connected to nature and the natural world and this earth that I live on. And wow, I am so grateful to hear that bird singing outside my window.
Mm.
How different, like dropping in, feeling it. Why am I grateful to hear a bird singing outside my window? Because I love nature, I love birds, I love animals.
Mhm.
And tuning into that, I'm tuning into this beautiful planet that we live on and the connection we have to the living things all around us.
Mhm.
And so that way of practicing gratitude has been an evolution for me. I don't really remember when I dropped into realizing the missing piece,
Yeah.
but of course, I was frustrated writing these things down each morning, wondering why nothing was different. Because a gratitude practice is tuning ourselves to a particular energy and feeling tone.
Yes.
So we're like striking like a tuning fork when we tune into
Mhm.
gratitude and moving that frequency through our physical being, our emotional being, the energetic body all around us. We're
Mhm.
letting it reverberate through us and out of us.
Mm, I love that. Like just letting it keep moving, not just like within here, but like bringing that out into the world. And I kind of um, have a visualization like that sometimes when I'm thinking about something really positive. Is like, maybe I'm doing a visualization of this like sparkling white energy in my body, just like being loving and healing, but then I see it like expand beyond me like a wave throughout the world, because I'm like, I want this goodness everywhere, it's like, let me just send some love out. Why not? So yeah, it's like I have that sort of like visualization of that energy just spreading out. And you actually just, you made me think of, with that story, I did have a friend once who was just going through like a challenging moment in her life, or a season of her life, and we were talking about it. And I probably asked her, like, do you have any practices to like tune into yourself and take some time, or do gratitude or anything? And she had mentioned she was writing down things she was grateful for, but she was still feeling not awesome. Just really challenging time in her life. And I asked her, I was like, are you feeling it when you're writing those down? Are you feeling it in your body? And she's like, no, just what you were saying. She was just writing the words. And she was really struggling to feel the gratitude because she was in such a challenging point in her life. And so I was just kind of saying to her, start small. You might be at a point in your life where you're not going to feel this huge, expansive, like, wow, life is so good right now, because you're just at a place where that's a stretch. So it was like, okay, we'll start really small, and okay, you woke up today. Okay, that that's a great. that's a that's a good start. I woke up today. I have a comfortable bed to lay in. That's really nice. I appreciate that. And just having like small appreciations for things that you might have, or an experience that you might have, and just starting to slowly cultivate that feeling of gratitude, no matter how small it is, it still has power.
Yes.
So it was like, okay, let's build on that. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm down in the dumps and now I have to feel totally expansive.
Yeah.
That's such a far jump sometimes. And if you can, great. But I just was remembering, when you brought that up, I was remembering that conversation I had with her, and I was like, okay, you're at a different point. Like, let's start really small, and then go from there. And I think that hopefully that was helpful for her. But it's like,
Yeah.
I think things in her life also needed to shift. And then it was like, oh, okay, I'm coming out of this a bit more. And, but the gratitude is there, even if it's just a little speck, it's still there.
Oh, I love that you brought that in. Yeah, because we're not always in a place to feel this overwhelming, expansive gratitude. I remember in a breathwork ceremony once, we were having a sharing circle afterwards, and someone was sharing that she was in grief.
Mhm.
And so I think that sometimes when we hear that we need to have a gratitude practice and cultivate gratitude for everything in our lives, people can wonder about times like that. But what about when I'm grieving? Or what about if I got into a car accident or lost my job? Like, how am I supposed to be grateful for that?
Mhm.
And so I would say it's not that you have to feel grateful for every single thing that happens, but what you can start to look at is I can be grateful that I have car insurance, and there's a support system to help me get back on my feet after this accident.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful that I had a friend that came and picked me up after the car accident.
Right.
Or if you're grieving, I'm grateful for my church that's supporting me in community, or friends that brought me some food.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for the time I did have with my loved one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those can be very tender moments of gratitude and feel different.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, we're all in different places and different moments. Life ebbs and flows.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to allow ourselves the entry points
Oh,
that are aligned with where we are in each moment.
yes. I love the way you said that. The like having those entry points that are aligned with where we are in each moment, right? We're really honoring like where we are and like what is that step forward for us in that moment. You know, it's like this past week for me, like it has been accessible for me to come into these beautiful states of gratitude. And I see it building too. And this made me think like in the past 2 days, I've had two people mention Murphy's Law. That one where it's like, oh, if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong, right? It's something like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, and it's so negative sounding. Like, it's like, why are you like subscribing to this thought of just like, well, if anything could go wrong, it will go wrong, or I might be saying it wrong, but it's something
I can't remember what it is, but I
along
know
those
what you're
lines.
talking about. Yeah.
It's basically like people talking about kind of like the snowball effect of like bad things happening. And I'm like, wait, what if you flipped that? And you're like, well, if anything can go right, it will go right. Like, what if we start,
Ooh.
like, what if we start to believe that and start looking for all the things that are going right and start playing with that snowball and being like, well, let's keep going. Well, that went right. What else went right? All right, cool.
Yeah.
And then that becomes our focus, right? So if we keep focusing, it's not like stuff isn't going to go wrong at times, but like, what if we put more of our attention and more of our focus on all the things that are going right? Then you know, that's what we're going to focus on. That's what
Yes.
we're going to see more of happening because our attention is on it.
Yes.
So, what is it? The uh energy flow. I'm gonna say it wrong. Like attention go where I don't know.
Energy. Yeah.
Energy flows where
Energy.
attention goes, right?
Yes.
I was like flipping it, but you all know what I'm talking about. So it's like what we focus on grows. And that's like it's a basic piece of like manifestation and the law of attraction.
Yes.
And so when we do, and just this past week, what I was saying too is like, as I've been focusing on having this gratitude practice, I'm seeing more things to be grateful for. I'm noticing myself in potentially challenging moments, no matter how big or small that challenging moment is, seeing the silver lining and being like, you know what? Oh, I am thankful for this rejection because it's showing me that I want this instead. And yeah, I'm just sort of playing with that in a whole different way. And so it has me excited to continue this practice daily and see what else I notice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's feeling really good for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do, we say this all the time, but I'm going to say it again.
Say it again.
Because I did just mention grief. And so when we're talking about this, as always, we're never saying not to feel your feelings. So when you're finding gratitude at the same time you're moving through a grief process, it's not to say don't feel grief or don't feel the hard parts.
Right.
But it is to say that while you're feeling grief and while you're moving through these really difficult emotions, you can weave in other more elevated emotions through that experience when it feels right for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what if you chose, when you're moving through something really difficult, to commit that once a day, I'm going to find 3 things that even through this, I
Mm,
feel grateful for.
love that.
And like we said, wherever that entry point is, whatever the gratitude is, taking a moment to also see where even in this difficult time, you are being blessed and you
Mm,
are being held.
mm,
And there are things that you can give gratitude and appreciation for. And
yeah.
just taking those little moments to weave these in and tell spirit, I'm open to being uplifted. I'm open to being held. I'm open to seeing the blessings in my life always.
Mm, yes, I love that. Just saying, I'm open to receiving the blessings and seeing the blessings. And you're right, there's always an ebb and flow with everything. Like that is the nature of life, and it's never one way or the other. And it's a balance of like, oh, this is challenging, and like, oh, now this is great, and oh, now this is challenging, and oh, this is great, and we play in that, and it's a dance, and that's what we work with. And then you can start to shift, as I was saying too. It's like when those challenges come up through the practices that you're doing, maybe you just view them a little bit differently and watch yourself shift over time and see, if those of you listening, if you have a gratitude practice or you want to start one, I'm just curious, what you'll notice in that time. Like really bring a lot of awareness to the day to day and how you are showing up or receiving things, or just noticing what's happening in your life, how you're reacting to it. Yeah, let it be a gratitude experiment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Invite curiosity, invite a little bit of wonder.
Mhm. Invite play. Like I just feel like childlike of like, ooh, what can we do with this? What can I do with gratitude? What wants to
Yeah.
show up? How cool is that? Let it
Play
be
is a
fun.
great, yeah. Yeah, that's a great energy to bring in. Fun and play. Yeah. What would it be like if I tried this?
Yeah. Um,
And you know, I feel like that 7-minute mark feels pretty good to generate some good energy.
for sure.
If you have 15 minutes, do 15 minutes. If you have 3 minutes, three
Yep.
minutes is a wonderful place to start.
Yeah, because we were talking a little bit about this earlier. Is we can sometimes be like, oh, well, I don't have an hour to meditate, so I can't do it today. And that all or nothing mindset, thinking like you have to dedicate this wild amount of time in your day. And yeah, if you have an hour and you want to meditate for an hour, go for it. But if you don't, like 3 minutes or 5 minutes, a short amount of time is still so powerful. And we were just saying with your meditation, 7 minutes, we've both done that short amount um, of that meditation and been like, wow, that shifted my whole day.
Mhm.
It really created momentum in a positive direction just from that short meditation. So let it be simple as well.
Yeah, and just know that when you're doing this practice, you're teaching your body how you want to feel.
Mm.
So let it be a learning curve. And just remember every day, I'm going to anchor this feeling to teach my body, to teach my spirit, and memorize this new feeling tone that I'm bringing in and wanting to weave through the moments of my day, the moments of my week, which become all these moments of my life.
Yes. So good. The more we can just weave that in, then it's like, oh, how much time this month did I actually spend in gratitude because I took the time to do it throughout the day. And I like that. I like that word you're using, weaving it in. It feels very like flowy and just like inviting to have it like come in and come out as it needs to. It's very cool to think of it like that.
Feels good. And
Yeah.
then that weaving, I think, takes you out of that all or nothing idea that you just mentioned, because
Mhm.
if you have 3 minutes, if you have 1 minute, you're weaving that stitch of that 1 minute of gratitude into this tapestry of gratitude you're creating.
Ooh, I have like such a visual image of what you're saying. I'm like literally like because if anybody's watching this, like Christy's like using her hand like she's sewing something. It's I'm like, oh wait, this tapestry that I'm weaving. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. So then if it's 1 minute, if it's 7 minutes, if it's an hour, great. It's all, if it's a breath.
Hmm. Do you
Yeah.
want to take a breath? So yeah, we would love to hear from you as well if you're noticing, if you're doing this practice and you're noticing changes in your life and upliftment in your life, or if you're not, like I want to hear from anybody doing this practice, like how it's affecting you. And you can always reach out to us on Instagram at Luminous Human School and DM us because we love to hear from you.
Yeah, we appreciate you so much, and we appreciate those we've heard from already, and those who are just waiting for permission to reach out. You have it. Welcome.
Yes.
Hearing how these practices are impacting you, or any questions that you have.
Hmm. We appreciate you being here with us and being part of our community that is ever growing and expanding.
Yeah, so we're wishing you a beautiful tapestry of gratitude.
Absolutely. And as always, we love you so much.
We love you so much. We'll see you next time.